Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. Life is about timing, space, and understanding how people move when the world around them changes. So why do men return to you after no contact? Oh, let's get into it. 1. The power of time and space. You see, when you pull away, when you go quiet, you create something men often take for granted: space. And in that space, something remarkable happens. Reflection. A man starts to think about what you meant to him. Time becomes a mirror, and space becomes a canvas. They look back and they don't just see you, they see themselves, their actions, their mistakes. 2. The impact of emotional absence. Now understand this: when you're no longer present, your absence isn't just a void, it's a loud, echoing silence. Men might not admit it, but they feel that. It's in the little things: the missing good morning texts, the laughter they no longer hear, the warmth that's no longer there. That absence, it's a teacher. 3. Memories and nostalgia. Let's talk about memories. See, our brains are wired to romanticize the good times. So when there's no contact, a man begins to replay those shared moments like an old movie reel. The laughs, the conversations, the connection, it all comes flooding back. Nostalgia becomes a beacon, calling him back to you. 4. The fear of loss. But memories alone don't drive him back. It's fear. Fear of loss. When a man realizes that you're not waiting on him, that your world doesn't revolve around him anymore, he's forced to confront a painful truth: he might actually lose you. And that's a wake-up call. 5. Personal growth and realization. Now, let's not forget the power of self-reflection. Sometimes a man doesn't come back just because he misses you. He comes back because in your absence he grew. He saw his flaws, his immaturity, and he worked on it. Your no contact became his turning point. 6. Human nature and connection. Let's keep it real. Humans crave connection. We're wired for it. A man might leave thinking he's got it all figured out, but the reality is, when he's felt something deep, something real, he's bound to come back. Not because he's weak, but because he's human. So why do men return to you after no contact? It's simple: time, space, and the truth you let them discover on their own. But let me leave you with this: when they come back, it's not just about why they return, it's about what you become in their absence. Stronger, wiser, and more aware of your worth. Now I want to talk about this in detail. Time and space are two of the most underestimated forces in human relationships. In the context of why men often return after a period of no contact, understanding the role of time and space is essential. These two elements act as catalysts for reflection, transformation, and eventual reconnection. When you initiate no contact, it creates a vacuum. This vacuum isn't merely about your physical absence, it's about the emotional and mental presence you withdraw. Time starts ticking differently for the person on the receiving end. They are forced to confront the quiet that follows your absence. You're no longer there to provide the emotional safety net or to fill the gaps in their day with texts, calls, or affection. And in that stillness, something profound happens. They start to feel. Initially, the absence might be dismissed. Many men might think she'll reach out or this is just a phase, but as days turn into weeks, the realization begins to dawn that the space you've left behind is not being filled by anything else. This is where time does its work. Time has a way of slowing down when something important is missing. Each hour without your voice, each day without your presence, amplifies the awareness of what was lost. The space you've created isn't just physical, it's emotional and psychological. When someone is in close contact with you, they can become desensitized to your value. They might take your kindness, patience, and love for granted because it's always there. But when that steady presence disappears, it leaves a gap that no one else can easily fill. This gap becomes a mirror reflecting your worth. The space allows the other person to see clearly, often for the first time, how much they relied on you emotionally. Time and space together also challenge routine. Relationships, even the healthiest ones, can sometimes fall into patterns. These patterns, while comforting, can mask underlying issues or make one party complacent. The absence of contact disrupts these patterns, forcing the other person to evaluate their feelings and priorities. It's in this disruption that clarity is often found. Moreover, time and space give a man the opportunity to reflect not only on the relationship but also on himself. In the rush of daily life, people rarely pause to think deeply about their actions, choices, and emotions. Your absence creates a pause, a much needed interruption that compels introspection. It gives him the chance to ask questions like, why did things end up this way? What role did I play? And most importantly, do I want her back? This reflection can lead to growth. Some men return because they realize they've taken you for granted. Others come back because the time apart has shown them the depth of their feelings for you. Ultimately, the power of time and space lies in their ability to reveal truths that are often obscured in the immediacy of constant contact. By stepping back, you allow the other person to step forward, hopefully with greater clarity and intention. Emotional absence is a phenomenon that resonates deeply in human relationships. When someone who has been a constant source of emotional support, connection, and comfort suddenly withdraws, the void left behind is more than just noticeable, it's profound. This impact is at the heart of why men often return after no contact. Memories are the threads that weave human experiences together, and nostalgia is the gentle pull that brings those threads into focus. When a man experiences no contact, memories of the relationship, particularly the positive ones, take on new life. These recollections aren't just fleeting thoughts, they become vivid reminders of what once was, often reframed through the lens of longing and sentimentality. Nostalgia plays a critical role in why men return, as it taps into the emotional reservoirs built during the relationship. When two people share time together, they create a unique emotional landscape filled with laughter, meaningful conversations, shared goals, and intimate moments. These experiences become embedded in their psyche. In the absence of contact, the brain tends to amplify the positive aspects of these memories while muting the negative. This phenomenon, known as rosy retrospection, is a psychological bias that highlights the good times and diminishes the bad. The result is a series of mental snapshots: your smile during a special moment, the sound of your laughter during a silly conversation, or the comfort of your presence during a difficult time. Initially, men may attempt to suppress these memories, particularly if they were the ones who initiated the separation. They might tell themselves that moving on is the best course of action, distracting themselves with new routines, hobbies, or even relationships. But memories have a way of resurfacing, often unbidden. A song on the radio, a scent in the air, or a visit to a familiar place can trigger a flood of emotions tied to you. These triggers act as portals, transporting them back to the moments you shared. Nostalgia has a unique power. It's not just about recalling the past, it's about reliving the emotions tied to those memories. When a man feels nostalgic, he's not simply remembering what happened, he's feeling the warmth, connection, and joy he experienced with you. This emotional resonance can be deeply persuasive, making him yearn to recreate those feelings. Beyond the emotional pull, memories and nostalgia also serve as a source of comparison. When men reflect on their time with you, they inevitably compare those experiences to their current reality. If life feels less vibrant, less fulfilling, or less connected without you, the contrast becomes stark. Your presence in their life starts to seem irreplaceable, not because of who they are now, but because of how you made them feel back then. Additionally, the nostalgia born from shared experiences often leads to a sense of unfinished business. They might start to wonder, what if we gave it another shot, or did I truly appreciate her when I had the chance? These questions aren't just rhetorical, they are emotional prompts that compel them to reconsider the relationship. Ultimately, memories and nostalgia work hand in hand to remind a man of the depth of his connection to you. In the quiet moments of reflection, they magnify the beauty of what was and plant the seed of what could be again. Nostalgia, with its bittersweet charm, becomes a bridge that leads him back to you. Fear is a powerful motivator, and one of the most profound fears we face as humans is the fear of loss. When a man experiences no contact, this fear often emerges unexpectedly, creating a potent emotional reaction that compels him to reassess the value of the relationship. The fear of losing you forever isn't just a fleeting thought, it's a deep realization that can fundamentally shift his perspective and drive him to take action. At the start of a no contact period, men may often feel a sense of relief or independence, especially if they were the ones to initiate the separation. They might believe they've made the right decision or that they'll thrive on their own. However, as time progresses and the reality of your absence sets in, this initial confidence can give way to doubt. They begin to realize that your presence wasn't just a convenience, it was a core part of their emotional stability and happiness. The fear of loss becomes most acute when they recognize that you are moving forward without them. Perhaps they see signs of your growth, your confidence, your happiness, or your thriving social life. These changes can trigger a sense of panic. The thought of you building a life that no longer includes them is a powerful wake-up call. It forces them to confront the idea that you are not waiting for them and that the opportunity to reconcile might slip away permanently. This fear is amplified by the unique connection you shared. In relationships, people leave emotional imprints on one another. These imprints are not easily replaced, no matter how much someone might try to distract themselves or move on. When a man realizes that no one else can replicate the way you understood him, supported him, or brought joy to his life, the fear of losing you becomes even more profound. It's no longer about losing a partner, it's about losing something irreplaceable. Moreover, the fear of loss often triggers self-reflection. Men may begin to question their choices and actions that led to the breakup or separation. They start to wonder, did I give enough effort or did I truly appreciate her when I had the chance? These thoughts can lead to regret, which further intensifies their desire to reconnect before it's too late. Another important aspect of this fear is its relationship to ego. For some men, the idea that you could find happiness without them can challenge their sense of identity or self-worth. This isn't necessarily about control or possessiveness, it's about the realization that they may have underestimated your value and the impact of your absence. The fear of loss is deeply tied to the human need for connection and belonging. Losing someone significant isn't just about the practical aspects of the relationship, it's about losing a source of emotional fulfillment and intimacy. When a man truly understands what's at stake, it can push him to reflect, grow, and ultimately return with a renewed appreciation for what he had. In essence, the fear of loss acts as a clarifying force. It strips away distractions, confronts complacency, and reminds men of what truly matters. This fear doesn't just bring them back, it brings them back with a deeper understanding of the relationship and their role in it. One of the most profound outcomes of a no-contact period is the opportunity for personal growth and realization. While the absence of contact can feel like an emotional void, it often becomes a fertile ground for introspection, self-awareness, and transformation. When a man steps away from a relationship and has the time and space to reflect, he often undergoes an internal journey that reshapes his perspective not just on you, but on himself. Personal growth during no contact is driven by the solitude and silence created in the relationship's absence. Without the daily distractions of interaction, there's no choice but to turn inward. Men begin to reflect on their behavior, decisions, and the dynamics of the relationship. This period of self-reflection allows them to confront uncomfortable truths they may have avoided during the relationship. For instance, they might realize how they failed to communicate effectively, took you for granted, or let their insecurities affect the bond you shared. This realization is often a humbling experience. It's a time when they can no longer blame external circumstances or you for what went wrong. The responsibility for their actions or inactions becomes clearer. This is a powerful turning point because growth starts with accountability. Recognizing their role in the relationship's challenges often leads to a desire to become a better version of themselves, not only for you, but also for their own sense of integrity. During this period, many men also gain clarity about what you brought to their life. When someone is present daily, it's easy to take their qualities for granted. However, absence has a way of amplifying appreciation. The kindness, patience, support, or love you provided becomes more apparent when it's no longer accessible. This newfound recognition can inspire them to want to earn back your trust and presence. Another significant aspect of personal growth during no contact is the time it provides for self-improvement. Some men use this period to work on areas of their life they previously neglected, be it their career, emotional maturity, physical health, or personal interests. The realization that they need to be better can act as a motivator, driving them to make tangible changes. For example, a man who struggled with commitment might begin exploring why he has these fears and seek ways to overcome them. This process of growth often leads to a deeper understanding of what they truly want in life and in a partner. They may come to see that the qualities they admired in you are rare and worth cherishing. This realization shifts their priorities. Instead of focusing on temporary distractions or superficial connections, they begin to value deeper, more meaningful relationships. Ultimately, personal growth during no contact isn't just about a man becoming more self-aware, it's about him becoming more intentional. When he returns, it's not just because he misses you, it's because he has grown into someone who recognizes your worth and is ready to meet you at the level you deserve. This period of growth is transformative, creating the foundation for a potential reunion that is stronger, healthier, and more fulfilling than before. It's not just about reigniting the connection, it's about rebuilding it with a renewed sense of purpose and maturity. At the core of every relationship, whether romantic, familial, or platonic, is a fundamental human need, the need for connection. It's a need that transcends all boundaries, cultures, and personal circumstances. When we connect with others, we experience a sense of belonging, a shared understanding, and an emotional intimacy that nurtures our well-being. This need for connection is one of the driving forces behind why men return to you after no contact. It's a part of human nature that can't be ignored or easily replaced. Human beings are inherently social creatures. From the moment we are born, we rely on the presence and support of others to survive and thrive. This social wiring doesn't disappear as we grow older, and as we move through life, we seek out meaningful relationships that fulfill our emotional and psychological needs. When a man is in a relationship with someone who provides understanding, affection, and validation, that connection becomes an anchor in his life. It's something that feels natural and right. It's also something he may not fully appreciate until it's no longer there. When you initiate no contact, you create a rupture in this natural connection. It's not just the absence of physical presence, but the emotional detachment that comes with it. This sudden shift forces a man to face the uncomfortable reality that the person who once fulfilled an emotional need is now absent. And this absence isn't just an inconvenience, it's felt deeply, often in ways that are hard to articulate. The sense of disconnection can create a profound sense of loneliness,